automated tactics, techniques and procedures, an overview and deep dive of selected techniques. Tactics should be thought of as what the adversary is doing, often at a specific stage of an attack without getting into the house. A tactic like payload execution can be achieved with different techniques. As such, we use tactics to group the relevant techniques. Techniques are specific methods used on systems to achieve a desired result. For instance, loading Windows DLL is one of the many techniques to execute codes in Windows OS. Procedure is a sequence of techniques done in a certain way or order. Repetitive tasks can be automated to increase productivity and test reusability. Some of the use cases include products and systems evaluation, regression tests, and generate labeled data for research. AutoTTP integrates multiple penetration testing tools. It is flexible but organized. Using integrated development environment, it offers autocomplete and debuggable scripting. We organize the techniques into tactics across different stages of attack. There are various techniques for different types of targets such as client devices, services and network. This is how it looks like in the IDE. The folders mirror the different stages of attack. In each stage, there are different tactics folders, and within each tactic, there are different technique scripts. So far, we have seen an overview of AutoTTP. Let's look at some selected techniques related to Outlook backdoor, UAC bypass and spoofing an Outlook credential prompt. Visual Studio Tools for Office is a means to develop components for Microsoft Office. It can be used to create a backdoor that runs even when macros are disabled. Unlike command and control using HTTP or DNS, it does not need to periodically beacon to a C2 server. We use a loophole to install an unsigned VSTO add-in silently. This backdoor is useful to test the capabilities of endpoint protection and detection products. The attacker just needs to send an email to the target. The mail body contains PowerShell commands. In this case, we query the hotfixes that are installed on the target machine. Once the target Outlook client receives the email, the PowerShell commands will run silently in the background. Once completed, the results are sent back to the attacker. There will be no traces in any folders within the Outlook client. As you can see, the attacker on the left received the results of the various hotfixes that were installed on the target machine. Unlike the typical online session-based C2, this is a form of asynchronous command and control. Visual Studio will automatically create the necessary registry settings which are portable across machines. The registry settings can be exported from the developer's machine and added to the target without the need for admin rights. After the registry settings are added, we run VSTO installer to perform a silent installation. We developed a backdoor installer script within AutoTTP to check all requirements on the target machine before installing the VSTO add-in. Next, we look at UAC bypass. We discuss how we automate the checks to answer the question, is the user an admin? User Account Control, or UAC, is a means to limit applications from receiving administrative privileges. It is only applicable to users who are in the administrator groups. It is rather tedious to find out for the 3 possible types of admins. This question needs to be answered quite often when we want to perform further techniques that require admin rights. The script on the left is a procedure script. It will make use of a technique script on the right to check if the user is an admin before proceeding with a UAC bypass. Notice in the procedure script, the relevant techniques are clearly declared in the header. The procedure is more concerned with the sequence of techniques rather than the details of pen testing APIs. In this case, we use Empire APIs to perform the UAC bypass. We can easily mix techniques from Metasploit and Empire together in the procedure scripting. Outlook users will notice that the mail client may occasionally prompt for credentials. We are going to abuse this trust to capture user credentials by spoofing a login prompt. The technique script will first cause Outlook client to present in the foreground. In this example, we illustrated that breakpoints can be added during development. In actual test execution, the script will just continue with the next step. Once the Outlook client is presented, the script will cause an error prompt to get the user's attention to re-authenticate. The credential prompt will appear. Most users will trust the interface and type his or her credentials. The credentials will then be available to the script for further processing. The earlier examples showed how we can program various offensive steps. Scripting can be also implemented within specific frameworks like Metasploit or Empire, but to organize flexibly and integrate with other tools and frameworks will not be straightforward. We demonstrated the example scripts with Visual Studio Code IDE. Other IDEs can also offer autocomplete and debugging features. All these makes it easier to develop the techniques and procedures that can be shared for repeatable test scenarios. We hope you find AutoTTP useful. Thank you.